What's going on, everybody? It's Kilo, and we are back for another episode of the regular podcast on the regular network. It's real. All right, y'all. What's good? What's good? We're back, man. It's been too much time, but we're back. Please, before we do anything else, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please share the video. Comment your thoughts below. If you have a second, do the survey down in the description and help me out. We are trying to find some consistency. All right, the procrastination is getting out of hand. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, because every week, like I said, I'll be wanting to do this. Now, look, this is what I need from somebody. I need like an accountability partner. Somebody that watches this show, that probably also does content also on their own or with a team, whatever it is. I need somebody to get with me and get at me. Okay. I need a partner. Right now. I'm normally a self-starter, and I'm a self-starter in a bunch of other areas right now. But right now with the podcast thing, I need to get it together because I really want to get another camera for real. Not just for this, but because I just want to upgrade a camera. Nikon has this new Nikon ZR. It's pretty much so Nikon bought the company Red, right? Red, like they was a big dog in the cinema camera space for the last like 15 years, right? 10 to 15 years, something like that. And Nikon ended up buying them after big lawsuit, whatever, right? So Nikon bought them, and now they're starting to roll out their first cameras where the technology is merged together. A camera that's like an all-purpose camera, with Nikon is, which Nikon is used to doing, but with a lot of cinema capabilities and the formatting of the files, like Red, what people know Red for. And then the camera is super affordable compared to other cinema cameras, right? So I need to really generate some revenue over here on this here podcast so I can get that camera without having to go into my own personal pockets to make it happen. And I don't want to finance it either. So, I need a partner. Now, how's everybody been? Y'all been cool? I've been cool. Things going on and life happening. It's wintertime now, or it's getting wintertime. It's cold now. We're in December now. The year's ending. Next week, we'll probably do our year-end episode where we go through the top albums of the year. My top albums of the year. This is not like a blanket statement. I'm just giving my favorite albums of the year. I don't do top 10 or anything like that because sometimes there's not 10 albums that are worth mentioning. I'll probably have 7 or 6 or 7 this year. And now I'm thinking, because a lot of shows and things came out this year that I actually watched, I might rank my top shows and or movies for the year. I haven't watched a lot of movies, but I have watched a lot of shows, series, streaming, and on TV. So I might do that for the first time. I normally keep it to the music, but I'm thinking about it. Let me think about it, because I watched some good stuff. This year. Now, something that I did yesterday. I went to the Brandy and Monica concert. Today is Friday. So Thursday night, Brandy and Monica, the Boy Is Mine tour, hit Atlanta again for their second time, State Farm Arena. And it was packed. It was very packed. It was jam-packed. The lines to get in were long, but it didn't take a whole lot of time to get through the lines, but the lines were very long. And I was late, right? We got there late. It was like the show started, the doors opened at 7. The concert started at 8. We got there like 8:45, right? So there was 2 acts that opened up before Kelly Rowland and before Brandy and Monica came out. But they were like nobody knew who was opening up, right? So I forget the one guy's name. His name was like Jamal something. And then it was Keisha Cole. And if you know me, I've been a huge Keisha Cole fan since I was a youngster, right? When I was about 15, 16 or whatever. I thought that, Keisha Cole would have been my lady, right? Not that, I didn't have just like a boyish crush back in them days. I really thought that when I got older and grown, I was going to go find her and she was really going to be my lady. You see what I'm saying? Because I thought I can get at her. So really, it really pained me when she went and married my mans that played for Booby. When she went and married him and didn't wait for me, because that was really crazy of her. How could she do something like that, right? In my young mind, this is what I'm thinking. But anyway, I didn't hold it against her. She was performing as we are walking in to get to our seats. Sent from Heaven was playing like soon as we got in there. By the time we get to our section, or the section we thought was our section, by the time we get there, she had finished, like Love was over. And she was saying, thank you, I appreciate Atlanta, good night. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, of all people for me to miss because I came too late, Keisha Cole was like the last one that I ever wanted to miss, right? I went to a Maxwell concert some years ago. We went to a Maxwell concert 2017 or 18. I think it was 17. And you got a little late and we missed Marsha Ambrosius. And I was like, dang, I wish I would have seen her, but it wasn't, I'm not a stan. I'm not the biggest fan of her. But Keisha Cole, I was supposed to be there for that. So I'm going to make sure I don't go to any more concerts late, especially in Atlanta where they bring out great special guests, because a lot of people live here. And Keisha Cole been living here for a long time. So missed her, but got to the seat, and Kelly Rowland starts performing like very shortly after we get in there, right? So Kelly, amazing performer. This is the thing about, this is my first, I've been to concerts before, even arena stuff, but I've never actually been to a show for an R&B act from my formative years, I guess, from teen years, from like 10 to 18. People who were big during that time. This is my first time seeing them. I've seen older acts, right? Like I said, Maxwell, I've seen Keith Sweat, I've seen Babyface, maybe a few others. And then I've seen people that came after that time, but I haven't seen people from that time period, early 2000s R&B. I've never been to a show. So I didn't realize how big of a thing that they making. I don't know if this is just a trend right now or if this is how it's always been. But Kelly Rowland performed. This is how I viewed the production. It felt to me like I was watching like an award show performance. It looked like it was made for TV, or I don't know if they're shooting a documentary or plan on making a movie and releasing it or something like that. But the thing was highly, highly, highly produced. There was the broadcast camera they were using to film and to show us on the Jumbotron what was going on stage. This is like, we're talking about $100,000 camera or more, right? And then they had people up towards the stage, camera people, getting the best angles from the ground up to the stage, and also walking on the stage to walk through the dancers and get good video. It looked really like an award show. And I've never been to a concert where the performance looked like what you would see if you were watching it on TV. And it wasn't, I'm not just saying Kelly, I'm saying Kelly, Monica, and Brandy. All three of their performances look like that. So maybe that's going to be in a documentary or something. I'm not sure. But it looked great. Kelly went for like 45 minutes. And I don't know if y'all seen the Joe Budden podcast where he went on like a little speech about how good Kelly Rowland looks and how she's really that girl and all this type of stuff. I see why after seeing that show, he felt like that. I don't think it had anything to do with the music, because we already know Kelly got hits, right? Kelly got hits on her own, and then she has the stuff with Destiny's Child. Hits on hits on hits, right? I think everybody knows and remembers that. The thing about Kelly, though, with her looks, of course you think like, all right, yeah, Kelly looked good. But it's not just that she looks good. Kelly looks the same as back then. A lot of people look good for their age, right? Brandy and Monica, they look good for their age. And they look good, period, right? But they don't look like they looked in 2003. Kelly looks the same, but she just has different clothes on. Like the fashion is upgraded. Maybe the makeup is upgraded. But herself, even her body, her frame, and her face looks exactly the same from when I was a kid to when I was 13 years old, 14, 15. That's the big difference. That's you don't realize it until you see her in person. Like, oh, she really looked like the same as she did back then. So it kind of can be like a mind trip when you're seeing her. Like, it's nostalgic because it brings you backwards to 2003 when Dilemma first came out, or when Cater to You first came out, or when Girl, Destiny Fulfilled, all of this stuff was coming out. It could take you back there because this lady looks the same. Beyonce looks very good, but she don't look how she looked in 2003. And that's not a bad thing, because some might say she looks better now. But she looks different, though. Kelly does not look different. She looks like the same person. So I think that's what was throwing Joe, like making him so enamored with her. Kelly killed it. So then Kelly goes about 30 to 45 minutes. Now we're around like 9:45 maybe ish, somewhere around there, close to 10 o'clock. And this is when Brandy and Monica come out. So when they come out together. It's highly produced, right? They come up from the floor and all that. And it's just a great performance. They start out and it went the whole way. I'm normally not like a fan of the back and forth thing. Like me, when I like a headliner, I want the headliner to just go last, right? They had a format that they came up with, which is pretty much they came out together, right? They performed this intro type of sequence. A bunch of dancers on stage, they were dressed similarly to each other, and they rocked it, right? And then what they started doing is they were using videos to kind of illustrate what was their history between each other and their history in the industry. So, from little kids, how they got into singing, things like that. They were doing that while they were changing outfits and stuff, using videos. I think they did a good job with those videos. And then, so Brandy would come out, do 3 songs. Then Monica would come out, do about 3 songs. Brandy would come do 2, Monica do 2, Brandy do 1, Monica do 1. And they just kept doing this back and forth in that way. And then the songs they were performing, it was almost like Brandy doing her upbeat stuff. She'll do 3 upbeat songs. Then Monica will come back and do 3 of her upbeat songs. Then Brandy will do 2 of her where she was breakup songs. And then Monica come do 2 of her breakup songs. And it was just going back and forth like that. And you realize just how many parallels they have with each other in this industry. Maybe one person put a hit out and then the other person's producer said, yo, we need one of those ones like she had. Maybe they were doing that. Maybe they were like silently competing behind the scenes, and maybe the producers were causing it. Maybe the labels were doing it. Who knows? But they have a lot of songs with similar content around the same years too. But it was great. It made for a great show. I guess the universe was setting them up all these years to be able to put together a show like this. As successful as this tour was, this is the type of tour that they can retire off of. You see what I'm saying? I don't think we'll ever get this Brandy and Monica tour again, so it's a good thing to be able to see it. But they really don't have a reason to do it again. You know what I'm saying? They did it. They did it great. People came out, showed up, showed out, and it was amazing. I don't think I have any critiques. They were both singing the whole time. Singing and dancing. I didn't even realize they danced. Singing and dancing the whole time. They had both had male dancers. I know Monica had background singers. I'm trying to remember if Brandy did. Brandy probably had background singers, but I don't remember them. I remember Monica's. Kelly had some good background singers too with her. Dang, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to look at my video to see if Brandy had background singers, but I don't remember her having any. But they both had dancers, and the dancers really shine bright because they had the same dancers. Brandy and Monica used the same dancers. So when they were switching back and forth, song to song, switching outfits and all this type of stuff, those same dancers had to keep coming back on stage for the next person. So at least like Brandy would do 3 songs that she got to relax or, change clothes and chill while Monica did her 3 songs and her speeches and all this type of stuff. Those dancers had to get right back on stage as soon as they changed clothes. That was another cool thing. They had some great dancers. The guests that came out. So Kelly Rowland during her set brought out The Dream, and he did his Lil Wayne diss song, Is That Your Girl? Great song. He performed it great. He sung also. He didn't just lip sing or nothing like that. He actually sung his song. So then I guess that Monica pretty much brought all the guests between the Brandy and Monica portion of the performance. Monica she brought the Young Bloods out. That was a shock to a lot of people. She brought out Young Jock. Did she bring somebody else out? Young Bloods, Young Jock. I'm trying to think who that might have been it. I can't. I think it was. I hope it wasn't anybody else. I have it on video. I figured it out. But the guests were great. I love the guests. So Dream, Young Bloods, Young Jock, great guests. Right. Then another part that they did that I thought was good. They did a Whitney Houston tribute. I Want to Dance with Somebody, they performed that. Very good tribute. Brandy sung it, Monica sung, they sung it together pretty much, but Brandy did most of the singing on the Whitney tribute. They bodied that. They were dressed alike when they had the all white on, completely bodied that one. I don't have anything negative to say about the show, man. I don't like a lot of loud noise. I'll say that. So it is weird for me to go to a concert when I don't really like loud noise like that. Or prolonged loud noise, it messes with me a little bit. So that threw me off, but it wasn't anything that was specific to their concert. Every concert is like that. And I have the same issue with every concert. So that's not a knock on them. That's a me thing. I will say, I went to Jay-Z's concert I already said it, but I went to Jay-Z's concert at the State Farm Arena. It was Phillips then, I think. It definitely was not like jam-packed that way. And it was sold out, but it wasn't packed like that. It was not. Do I have any other notes on that? I think. Oh, they also had a good DJ. Most of the time I go to shows, though, the DJs between performers are normally good. But they definitely had it rocking in there. But one part, the DJ was kind of playing songs, but he would like play 5 seconds of the song and turn it off. I didn't understand that because the crowd was really going crazy. But yeah, they did good. They did great, man. There was definitely a star-studded event. There were people in the crowd. I'm trying to think. I think the Brat was not too far in front of us. The Brat and her wife, Kelly's husband, was there, like not far from us. Who else? Scrappy and his wife. Ray J was there, of course. Kelly Rowland said that her dad was there, and that was his first time seeing her perform live, which is crazy because she'd been around since like 96, 95, and they was performing before they got famous. So the fact that he'd never seen her perform is kind of wild. Your daughter's part of the biggest girl group in history, and y'all don't see them perform is a little odd to me. But he was in Atlanta. I didn't even know Kelly was from Atlanta originally. So she said that while she was performing, like, yo, I'm back home or whatever. I didn't know she was from here. But yeah, so her dad was there. That was a big. Pastor Troy was there. Who else was there? Reginae was there. Lily from SWV. There was a few people there. Actually, I said few. There was a lot of people there. A lot of like celebs and stuff. And it was packed. Great show, man. Great show. If y'all get a chance, I think they only have a few shows left. So if y'all see this and they're coming to your city or around you, you might want to go check it out because I don't think they'll ever do it again. They should be making enough money. Let me see if I can look up how much they're grossing on this tour. See if I can find it real quick. All right, man. I spoke out of turn because this is saying that this total gross is over 9.4 million. They sold 78,000 tickets. So it's a 24 city. So 24 cities and 9.4 million. So I guess the tickets are not like these younger rappers' tickets because I feel like Kendrick did about 20 cities also, but it was a stadium. 20 cities on the first leg of his tour, and it came with like 150 million. So let me not speak out of turn. So they about 300,000 a night. Still amazing money, but they won't retire off of it, of course. I was wrong about that. Either way, all good still. Shout out to them. I shouldn't have been counting their pockets anyway. But I do like to track how much these tours and things are making. I did want to point out something, though, while I'm at it, talking about Atlanta and things like that. And shout out to everybody that put that tour together. Moving on, but kind of related. I hear people on the internet so often say stuff like, Atlanta got the most fake rich people, or Atlanta, like everybody in Atlanta act like they got money, or Atlanta, everybody think they. This is what I realized. First of all, people only say that because of how black Atlanta is. There's some real self-hate stuff going on when people talk about Atlanta. Self-hate and jealousy. Because when people see black people with money or black people doing anything nice for themselves, the assumption is always, oh, that black person is doing something, living beyond their means. They're buying something they can't really afford. That's the assumption because a lot of black people around the country, that is what's going on. But when you say it about Atlanta, knowing what the reputation of Atlanta is, to me, it's just really hate, right? Since I've been here, this is the only place I've ever seen where black people there's poor black people here, plenty of them, right? But there's also a massive black middle class here. And then there's the black rich class here. What's not normal is the size of the black middle class here. That's what you don't have anywhere else, right? So when the black people here, for the most part, are doing things that people would say, oh, they're spending their money irresponsibly or whatever like that, a lot of times these people here can afford it. They're not buying things they can't afford. They're buying what they can't afford, and they can keep buying it if they want to. You know what I'm saying? This is a place where white people have money and black people have money. That's why you have the transportation industry being as big as it is here, especially the airport. These people get on a plane, go as much as they want to, come back as much as they want to, because everybody has access to capital here. Not everybody doesn't have access, but this is a place where the mixture is the most even as far as racially, because there's also some wealthy Asian and wealthy Latino people here too. It's just not as many. But when people, you would think that people had some type of data when they went and say, yo, all the black people fake money there, whatever like that. This is a place where I did a situation a couple of years ago where I was giving out an award at a middle school, right? I did a writing competition. Some kids won a writing competition at a school, so I was going to announce it. The little boy, this little 8th grade boy who was announcing me to come up to give the award out, this boy is at a 7th grade. I said 8th grade. This is a 7th grade award ceremony. He's wearing a Balmain sweater, just on some like, yeah, I got an awards show today at my school, so my parents got me a Balmain sweater for this. Like, and people would be like, oh, the parents, they probably broke, they probably got their lights off. Where I come from, that is the case. You see what I'm saying? If somebody would have came to school with a Gucci sweater on or something like that back in 2003, then you could safely assume that either the sweater is fake or the parents are living beyond their means, right? But down here, that's not the case. A lot of these people can afford Balmain, can afford, not just for them, they can afford to put their kids in Balmain. Their kids are asking for Lanvin sneakers for Christmas. Some of these kids have Louis purses. Some of these kids have it, like, and their parents can actually afford it. This place is not like any other place. So when you see this, even when tours and stuff like this come here, if the boys mind merch is like, oh, it's $100 a shirt, $50, $60 a shirt, these people don't care. Let me get 5 of them. Swipe it up. They got it. A lot of people don't realize, they're not realizing what it looks like when you have a large middle class. You see what I'm saying? You have a lot more 2-parent households than they want to say. A lot of this stuff, they're not going to report on it for another decade, right? And it's because, of course, a lot of the stuff in the media is about shaping the narrative about black people, especially black Americans. So when people are doing better, they don't want to tell it right then. They'll tell you later. Like, we'll let you know later. When you see something like Black Wall Street, do you think that was in the news when it was actually happening? They wasn't telling everybody, hey, there's a place down in Tulsa that has all the XYZ going on. They didn't talk about that. That's something that people started talking about later, telling the whole country about later. That wasn't, so it's the same thing. That's why that one, the only reason people know about that one as much as they do is because of the bombing and stuff like that. They don't even talk about the other ones because there was a bunch of those type of communities. So it's the same thing with Atlanta. They want to keep this image, or not even keep the image. They want to, it's really propaganda when they do things like, oh, they down there spending their money on stuff and they can't afford to da-da-da-da. An example of somebody like that you wouldn't even realize, these people just sitting on money, not celebrities, not famous, anything like that. There's a man, he owns the daycare that my kids go to, right? He drive an F-150. You know, that's a nice F-150, so you can tell he might have a little bit of money. First of all, his house is big as hell and nice, and he built it custom. He owns 4 daycare locations, at least 4 that I know about, and that I've seen and been to. 4 locations. He owns rental properties, and he owns commercial property too, commercial businesses outside of the daycare. This is just a random person that you will see. He's actually from Atlanta. He ain't even a transplant, from the southwest side of Atlanta. There's people like that all over, like black people that are like that all over the city. They're like, yeah, I'm a doctor, but I got a couple Airbnbs in the city. I'm a truck driver, but I got an Airbnb over here. I'm a lawyer. I got a couple rental properties in South Georgia. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, you hear that type of stuff all the time. People are not fake getting money here. People are really getting to some money here. So don't get it confused. There's a reason why when people come, this is not good. I don't think it's a good thing. But when artists come here, especially legacy artists or big artists in the black space, they come to Atlanta and they price gouge. The tickets cost more, the merch costs more, everything is more expensive when they come to Atlanta, because they know when black people want something here, they're gonna go get it. Like, we don't care. Like, oh, I want that. Those tickets are how much? Well, it is high, but I'm gonna get it because I want it. That's how Atlanta is, and everybody knows that. Everybody doing business knows that, right? So all this little talk on social media, and I'm not from here, but when I got here, I realized quickly that this is not a regular place. And I don't think there's another place on the planet like this, where black people live like this. I'm talking about the whole world, all African countries included, South American countries included, anywhere. Nowhere else in this country, definitely, and nowhere else on the planet do you have this type of distribution of wealth. Okay, there's a poor class, there's a rich class, there's a middle class, and there's a wealthy class. There's old money, there's new money, there's no money. But you don't have this type of distribution anywhere else. Okay, so y'all stop saying that about Atlanta. Atlanta is not what y'all keep trying to play around and joke about on the internet. All right, excuse me. Now, I told y'all last time about the runoff for South Fulton mayor of South Fulton. And the results are in. Let me read this article. The results are in. The South Fulton mayor is Carmelita Gums. I don't know if you pronounce it Gums or Gooms, but I'm going to say Gums because it kind of looks like Gums. Let me share this up here on screen with it. Oh, I got this. It's too far away. All right. Let's go ahead and read this here. Carmelita Gums, projected winner in South Fulton mayoral runoff election. She said, I'm just overwhelmed but excited. What did she say? But I'm excited because the people spoke, Gums said Tuesday night. Let's read this. South Fulton GA. South Fulton City Council member Carmelita Gums is the projected winner of the mayoral runoff race. Gums defeated her opponent, former council member Mark Baker. I'm just overwhelmed, but wait, my bad. I'm reading, but the light is glaring off the TV. I'm just overwhelmed, but I'm excited because the people spoke, she said. They are ready for leadership and they are ready for change in South Fulton. So that's what's important to me. And they have the confidence in my leadership to move the city forward. She thanked her supporters and everyone coming out to vote in the runoff. Gums will be the first woman to hold the mayoral seat in South Fulton. I appreciate them going on this journey with me that as a city, whether you voted for me or not, I am your mayor, she declared. She said her priorities include restoring transparency in City Hall. She also wants to focus on strengthening public safety while driving quality business to South Fulton. Here's the results below. So, of course, not a lot of people voted. I didn't get a chance to get out, and I planned on it. I should have voted early. That Tuesday got here to vote, and I could not get away. I could not get up there to vote, man. And I'm sick I didn't because only 13,000 people voted. South Fulton has 100,000 people. And this is if you're not in this area, South Fulton it used to be Atlanta. It was unincorporated Atlanta in Fulton County, and it is to the southwest of the city. Like my address is still Atlanta, but it's changed. It's South Fulton now. They started this city in like 2017, 2018, something like that, and incorporated the unincorporated parts of southwest Atlanta. Okay, so that's what built South Fulton. That's why there's never been a woman mayor, because it's a new city, right? But the last mayor, Khalid Kamal, he pretty much had a bunch of scandals from day one, right? He got arrested for breaking into a house. He said he was just trying to look inside because it was vacant. He got arrested for breaking into a house. He had issues with financial stuff. They say he was taking city money and doing things, buying furniture and stuff that he wasn't even using. all type of stuff. So he had scandals. There was things going on. That's why Carmelita, Miss Gums, said she wanted to restore transparency in City Hall. She was actually a council member dealing with the past mayor, and nobody on the city council liked the last mayor. The people voted for him, but the council members, they didn't like him. So every time there would be town hall meetings and stuff like that, they were always arguing. It was like messy. Hopefully everybody in the council likes her more than they liked him. She is somebody who's been around since the beginning of the city, probably been living here longer than that. Not probably, she definitely has been around longer than that, because when I moved here, she was already in place. She was the council person over District 2. I live in District 1. So I think she'll do a good job. I'm interested to see what she does plan on doing and what she decides to do first. So yeah, her district and my district, the district that she was in charge of, they work together a lot because it's right next to each other. So they would work together a lot on different projects, and a lot of people from my district do a lot of things in her district, like Wolf Creek area and all this type of stuff. So yeah, I think she'll do good. Shout out to her. Congratulations. And Mark Baker, I don't think that you should give up. You should definitely keep on, because he lost an election a few years ago also. He was trying to get in Congress. He lost that election as well. I just think he needs to focus on, or find a way to get his followers on social media, because he has way more social media followers than her. He needs to find a way to get his social media followers to actually show up and vote, right? Because he has 5,000 votes right here. So this means a lot of his following is from outside of his area. So he needs to get he needs to get followers inside of where he lives. He's actually from Chicago, so maybe a lot of those people are in his hometown, the people that's following him. But he's been in Atlanta for probably 20-something years. So it's time to really get this area on lock so that you can win some of these elections. Because it seems like a lot of people don't know him. He's tied in with a lot of celebrities and stuff, but it seems like the people of the city don't really know him that well. So I think he should work on that. And actually, if he wants to win something, start working on that part now, getting people, being in people's face so that they know who you are. Gums is very visible. She always has been doing different events in the city before she was running for mayor. He started doing stuff when he ran for mayor. That's not true. He's been doing things, but it seemed to be a lot more celebrity outreach focused, just from my point of view. This is what I seen. Her stuff is like trash pickup, like stuff like that she getting out there with the people. So, and that's not to knock him. That's just to say he could probably do a better job, because you can get more than 5,300 votes, like 5,400 votes. You can get more than that. I think he can. So, yeah, that's all I got on that. Shout out to them. Congratulations again to Ms. Gums. The Reckoning, the Diddy documentary. Let me find a little. Damn. Yeah, the Diddy. So 50 Cent partnered up with Netflix and Alexandria something. I can't think of her name. She's a documentary filmmaker, and they created a documentary on 50, and they've been working on it for the last 5 months. Just what 50 said, I think. Somebody said they've been working on it the last 5 months. They have this documentary. Now, the first thing about the documentary that went viral before the documentary even came out was the fact that footage was included in this documentary that was as recent as up to the day Diddy got arrested, right? The only way for 50 and his team to have gotten that is for somebody that was on Diddy's team to have given him that footage recently. Because like I said, it's from right up until he got arrested in 2023 or 4, whatever. Whenever he got arrested, the footage is up to that day. So this is behind the scenes footage of him dealing with the case, but before the actual arrest, where he's knowing like the arrest is coming, because he's in New York City trying to shake hands and kiss babies and stuff like that. So that was the first thing that made it go viral. Like, yo, we are getting a look into something. We are seeing somebody, a filmmaker that is an adversary of the subject, who's Diddy in this situation. The filmmaker is the adversary of the subject, but they have footage from the subject that the subject didn't authorize, but they legally own. But the filmmaker legally owns it, right? It's almost like if somebody wanted to make it, somebody that didn't like you wanted to make a documentary about you, but they took all the videos out your phone and then made a documentary, including those videos from your phone. It's kind of like that. That's what it seems like to me, right? So overall thoughts, I think it's a great production. Like the way that they put it together, going back, they, started out with the recent stuff, like that footage that I'm talking about. And then they go back to the beginning, pretty much talking about his mom, his childhood best friends. All these years, I didn't realize that Diddy was in the industry with somebody he actually grew up with since he was a little kid. I can't think of his name. I think his name was Tim Dog. He grew up with that man like from young, like damn near toddler years. I didn't know Diddy had friends around him from those years. Of course, they're not friends now, but they were for a long time. I didn't realize Diddy had friends around him from that time period in his life. And they came into the music industry together. Pretty much Diddy got in and then he brought his homeboy in. I didn't know about that. So that was something I learned. Now, this relationship with his mom, finding out that his mom was extremely abusive to him. And because his dad was in the streets, and because he was killed and his mom felt like she didn't want her son to be soft or weak, when he would show signs of weakness or like he was a punk or somebody did something to him and he didn't fight back, she would beat him crazy. That's what his friend said, Tim Dog. That's what Tim Dog said. Tim Dog said that the beatings that Sean, he called him Sean, that Sean got back then were burned into his mind. Like it was bad like that. Burned into him, like Tim. He didn't feel it, but he said it was bad enough that they were burned into his mind. So that's the makings of making a person violent. When you beat them in that way, you're going to make them violent because that's how they're going to think. This is how you respond to things that you don't like with extreme violence, right? And then on top of that, he don't have a dad. And then he only has his mom, and then she only deal with street dudes. So that's just being instilled in him is like, let me copy the street guys. Those are the ones who my mom likes. So let me copy the street guys. Not to say he didn't go get in the streets, but he learned what the streets had going on and then took that with him into the music industry. Right. So one thing that they tried to paint this story, they painted the narrative of is that him and his mom spent so much time in Harlem, even though they lived out in the suburbs in Mount Vernon. They spent so much time in Harlem that he was pretty much soaking up everything that they was doing in Harlem and was trying to mimic it. And he kept doing that even in adulthood. He kept mimicking what they was doing in Harlem. So if you remember the scene in Paid in Full where Rico was at the club and he's showing his sex tape on the club TV, they said pretty much Diddy, like Alpo in real life used to do that. And Diddy saw that and he copied it. So one of the women that he dealt with early on in the career when he was pretty much still an intern said that he sexually assaulted her and had a recording of it and was showing it in clubs. Now, she said some people told her about it, but she never actually seen it. But supposedly Diddy had filmed her and was showing people in the clubs, but he was doing that because he was trying to copy the well-known drug dealer and killer, Alpo. And that pretty much is what continued throughout his life, trying to copy people that he wasn't really like. Another thing that I did not realize or I didn't know is that Diddy and Suge started out as friends because Suge was Al B. Shore's bodyguard. I knew Suge was Bobby Brown's bodyguard. I didn't know he was Al B. Shore's bodyguard, and I didn't know Diddy and Suge were friends. They even one time said like they was close enough that when one of them would come to the city, the other one would pick them up from the airport. I never knew that. I don't know how all these years of hearing about their beef and all this type of stuff, and I watched plenty of documentaries, videos, and interviews, and I've never heard anybody say that these two people were friends at first. Not in that way. They was cool. I heard that there was no beef, but I didn't know that they were friends, like friends. Or friendly, like friends. They were cool with each other. Didn't know that. They also let it be known that Diddy had an issue with taking people's girlfriends, right? Like he would be obsessed. Well, what the one guy said was he would try to take everybody's side girl. Like anybody had a side girl, Diddy was coming trying to take them. That's how they described it. And one of his early versions of that was, so Misa was supposedly Eric Sermon's friend, right? Kim Porter was I'll Be Sure's girl. We know about that one because they have a kid together. So he like people that he's around, he sees them have a girl, he take them. Cassie, Ryan Leslie. That's his thing. That's like where he gets his girls from, is like snaking other men. He don't just go out, find a single woman and want to get with her. He's going like, oh, you got a man? Now I want you now. Like it seemed that's the story they tried to paint. First of all, let me just say, go watch the documentary. I think it's good. I think it's worth watching. A lot of people think that this is going to be an award-winning documentary. I can see why people think that. And I agree it probably will win some awards, but I really love documentaries, so I could tell that it was rushed. It was put together well for a rushed documentary, but it was rushed. Even just the fact that at the beginning of each documentary, they put the same words on the screen. There was no difference. It was exactly the same, like almost like they went in Adobe After Effects, came up with a title screen, and then just copied and pasted it on each intro to the doc. Like I got 4 episodes. Okay, go copy and paste the same thing. Normally, as you use that black screen with the words to describe something that's about to be discussed in the episode. They didn't do that. It was just generic, like put this thing about Diddy in there. And then they did the same thing at the end of each one. Some other excerpt that they wanted to explain to people, put the exact same one at the end of each episode. So I mean, so that's one sign to me that it was rushed. Another sign was that, and I do like when the documentaries jump through time, in sometimes, but I could tell that some of the people that were interviewed on this documentary did not know what they didn't know what the documentary was for. I don't think they knew, first of all, that 50 Cent was involved. Some of them. I don't think they knew 50 was involved, and I don't think they realized what it would be used for, like what type of documentary they were putting together. I think that some of these people, of course, like people like Audrey, people like the security guards, people like Mark Curry, they knew what they was coming for, right? They knew they was coming to slander Diddy and make him look as bad as they could, which I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but they knew that they were coming for that. But I think some of the older friend Tim Dog, because when they went into certain topics, which he would have been around for, he no longer was giving opinions on it. So I'm like, okay, so he only could speak to he's just telling the story of his upbringing and stuff Diddy went through and how amazing he ended up becoming based on where he started at. I don't think he knew that the rest of it was going to take the turn it took when describing him and how those early things shaped who he was. I don't think Tim Dog knew that. And there's probably a few other people that I don't think realized what the end result would be, right? The reason I don't think they realized is because some of these people are people that haven't spoke before about any of this stuff. The Lil Rod situation, I think he's a complete weirdo. And not just Diddy is a weirdo too, but I think Lil Rod is weird also. Cause like he tried to spin it like I was there working and producing, and then one day, you know what I'm saying, Diddy just wanted to have sex with me. We had sex, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get paid. Like, come on. That's not like this the thing, right? Of course, when people know who to do what to, right? They know who they can get away with it. They test people, manipulators, they throw little tests out there, see what they can get away with. If they can't get away with it, then they won't even come at you a certain way. They'll just move on to the next person. But when they do start to see you ain't going home, you ain't answering your kid's phone because you want to sit here and do what I tell you to do. Your kid's calling you and you're letting me know, oh yeah, that's my kid, but I'm not going to answer right now because I'm working with you right now. If you're letting me know that you're not going to go to your kid's birthday party because you're in here trying to make a beat with me, I already see what I could do with you, because you just showed me that you're willing to abandon everybody for me, to be in here with me, right? He thought that was like him being honorable on some, oh yeah, I'm holding Diddy down, I'm missing my kid's birthday parties. That's weird. You telling him that let him know what he could do to you. You know what I mean? And the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because I don't believe his stories about being a victim of any sexual acts. I don't believe that part. I believe him when he say he's a victim of the financial fraud where Diddy said, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to pay you, and then didn't pay him. I believe that part. I don't believe the part that the sex was not consensual. I think it was. Of course, I'm an outsider. I can't say what it factually is. I'm just saying what I believe. So it became an issue because Diddy stopped answering your calls around them. Well, he didn't stop answering your calls. He just kept on playing with you about the money. So now you go back to the sexual relationship. Now I did all that because I was drugged and raped. Right? I think that's odd. Right? So you was gay for pay, essentially, and then you didn't even get paid. So gay for pay, didn't get paid. You're weird. But anyway. So Lil Rod is weird. I thought it was interesting that Aubrey said that another victim wrote an affidavit and said that she walked into a room and saw Diddy and a security guard having sexual relations with her. And Aubrey said, so Aubrey didn't find out about it until 20 years later. She's reading the affidavit, right? She's like, I don't remember that happening. So essentially what the other person is trying to say is that she was drugged out and was pretty much out of it, blacked out, drugged out, and Diddy and his bodyguard was still having their way with her. Aubrey is saying, now you put this out here. Now I have to live with the fact that I don't remember that happening to me. And I don't even know if you're lying trying to get your money from Diddy. Right? So she's like, I don't know if I should out her for lying, or if I should be trying to attack Sean for doing this to me because I don't know. I don't remember it at all. I thought that was deep. Because now the person who wrote that affidavit, because you're trying to get money from Diddy, you just put a burden on the person that you're calling the victim that they got to live with for the rest of their life because they don't remember being sexually assaulted in that way. Could you imagine? Somebody just out of nowhere 20 years later come like, yo, I saw this person getting assaulted, and they don't remember. You don't remember at all. It's crazy. I think everybody should watch it. I see people online saying, yo, Diddy is trying to tear down another black man. And I'm just like, 50. They're saying 50 trying to tear down another black man. For me, I'm like, if a black man is doing that type of stuff to black people, he should be torn down. I don't understand why people said the same thing about R. Kelly. I'm like, y'all know R. Kelly is being accused of doing things to other black people, namely black girls, namely young black girls. If this person is being accused of that, if they really doing it, shouldn't you tear them down? Like, what should you do with them? No, some people should be torn down. People like that are some of them. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if they're rich, they made good music. You can still listen to their music while the rest of us tear the person down. You see what I'm saying? If you just want to play the music, you don't need them to be famous no more. You don't need them to be free from incarceration to play their music. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Right? So yeah, I don't understand the people acting like Diddy's above being slandered for doing heinous things to people. And it made me realize even more, and I thought this anyway, but after seeing the documentary, even more, why Diddy feels so untouchable. He essentially, the feds shot their load, right? And he only came out of it with 50 months of prison time. Now, some people are looking at it like, oh, 50 months, that's still a lot of time. Like, time is relative. A lot of time is subjective. If I've been going around, when I get into beef with people, they die, I have them knocked off, and I'm doing this for decades, 30 years, and then when they finally catch up to me, they're only able to get me for 2 lightweight minor acts, and I only get 50 months for it. And I done dropped bodies all throughout the industry for the last 20, 30 years. 50 months is not a lot of time at all. It's actually like a slap on the wrist for real. He didn't get the type of racketeering case where they had to freeze his assets or seize his assets because they didn't allege that he made the money from the racket, right? So he gets to come home rich, and he gets to come home in relatively the same shape that he's in now. You know, it's not like he's gonna be 20 years older and decrepit, senile or anything like that. He'll still be who he is today, and he's gonna feel untouchable for real. And actually, he might not deal with anybody on that level anymore because he don't really need to. Now he really get to run off into the sunset. and he just won, right? When some people are like, yo, it's 5 years, just think about this. What they accused Big Meech of, right? For running this drug enterprise for 20 years. Could you imagine if Big Meech did what he did and only got 5 years for it? Everybody would agree. He came up. That's not that bad. Everybody would agree with that. So you should look at Diddy the same way. He came up. When you talk about dropping bodies, and even the people that actually caught the body saying he hired us to do that, and he still ain't get in trouble for it. That's a win for Diddy. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna come from this documentary, and I seen the comparisons between the Dream Hampton documentary versus this one, the R. Kelly one. To me, the R. Kelly one was very different because the documentary made about R. Kelly is the reason R. Kelly got his case. This documentary came out after Diddy is already sentenced. It's over. They're just telling us a bunch of stuff that some of us already knew, and we might have found out little new details. R. Kelly, they put out stuff that nobody knew was still happening to this day. When they arrested R. Kelly, they pretty much arrested him with all of the victims from the documentary. You see what I'm saying? So it's very different. It is a whole different. And then they locked R. Kelly up and made it so he pretty much is not getting out. He probably won't ever be free. He probably die before he gets back out of there because of how much time they gave him. So these documentaries, like when you talk about bombshell documentaries, two different things. It don't matter really what's in this documentary because Diddy is already doing his time for that stuff, and he only got 50 months. He didn't get 30 years, 20 years, or this didn't come out while he was awaiting sentencing or something like that. It came out after the whole thing is done already. So it's not as substantial. It's impactful. It'll get a lot of views, probably do some good numbers, but it's not as substantial as that R. Kelly one. That thing was like, you had to watch it. When people watch that, they say, yo, we thought R. Kelly was bad, but y'all got to see this. Bed, he had a bed in the studio. Like that shocked everybody. You see what I'm saying? And it really shocked everybody when they were hearing the stories of how the parents were getting their own kids to R. Kelly. That was the part that threw everybody off. Because it was now that the thing started to be arrest these parents. That became a big thing. So two different things, two different impacts. Dream Hampton won awards because it was too substantial not to. There's some other good documentaries this year. One of my favorite ones are the one where the white lady was bullying her daughter, but she was acting like a catfish. I think that was crazy, right? Even though you kind of could predict what was coming. First of all, people were telling it. I heard people spoil it a little bit, but you could kind of tell what was coming with that one. But it was still a great documentary. Like how they got it on camera where the man found out that the wife who was bullying her daughter actually hadn't been working. She lost her job a while ago and she was just acting like she was going to work every day. And he pretty much kicked her out the house, like live on the documentary. That was crazy. Man, there's some good documentary. The lady in Florida, the white lady, the neighbor who kept on calling the cops on the neighbors because of the kids. And then she ended up killing the mom of one of the kids over the skate being thrown in the yard or whatever. That documentary was great. Documentary was crazy. And there's probably some more, but those are good. So 50 is up with some real competition this year as far as good quality documentaries. But shout out to them, man. I hope they do get the awards that they want. I don't know what 50's angle is with Diddy. I don't know if he's trying to help him get some new cases or something like that. Maybe some cases for the murder stuff. So because there's no statute of limitations on the murder stuff. So maybe if they help him get cases maybe 50 is trying to get some investigations open back up or something. I don't really know what his angle is, but he is not letting up. And Diddy will be home in a few years. So I'm interested to see how they handle this when that man comes up out of there. But that's really all I got for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for stepping back with me. If y'all want to be my accountability partner, please let me know. Because I definitely need to get into it. I need to stay on it. I'm trying to get this camera. Camera's like $2,200 with no lens and no accessories. So getting a lens for it, a couple accessories, we're looking about $2,800, right? Which is not crazy for a cinema camera with the capabilities that one has. 6K video 120 frames at 6K. It's crazy. My camera can do like 4K at 30. But this camera's old and I bought it refurbished too. And it's been doing great for me. I bought it in 2019. So y'all, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please comment your thoughts below. Share the video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm gone.